Welcome to my series for Car Mechanic Simulator 2015. For those of you watching on YouTube, don't forget to check the description in the video for a link to my Car Mechanic Simulator 2015 guide, where you'll find complete rebuilds of all the cars, along with extra videos, tips and tricks, and a whole bunch of extra information including diagnostics, etc. It's time to rebuild the Salem Kieran. And this was purchased as a 2-star car, and as you can see, it's not exactly in the best shape. The rims look especially bad, and even the engine compartment doesn't look that great. So let's start with the body and at least make it look like it's worth rebuilding. Okay, and I know where my repair bench is, but I keep forgetting. Sell the garbage. And let's see if there's anything else worth. No, it's all gone. Putting any parts on that are not perfect or leaving any parts off severely hurts your sale price for the vehicle. You are far better off to buy the part new and put it on than to put on anything less than perfect. Always keep that in mind. I'm pretty sure that rear bumper, yeah, okay. Rear bumper, rear right, front left. Front right, rear left. Pretty sure I said rear bumper. I'm pretty sure I just bought. Oh, did I do that backwards? Front left, rear right. I never worry if I accidentally buy the wrong part. Because quite frankly, I'll be using it in another rebuild anyways. And no doubt I have some parts in stock for this car, so it offsets. And I will paint this car, make it look nice and shiny new. Keep in mind that it costs $500 to paint it, and for some reason it has nothing to do with the sale price. It's just looks much nicer and costs you $500. But I get personal satisfaction out of it, so I'm happy to do it. The body is at 100% now. So let's throw it on the left lifter and see how bad this really is. And yes, I'm anticipating that it's going to be pretty bad. Grab that servo. Keep in mind the parts that don't recover so that you can mass buy them the first time you go shopping. The battery would be one. All filters, pretty much anything shock, spring, bushing. If it involves the word sway, it's probably a loss too. In fact, it really pretty much is all belts. Anything that involves the concept of tie rod is also a loss. That belt tensioner. Water pump pulleys, cam gears, crank pulleys, none of those survive. And the fuel tank is also a loss. So if you keep that in mind, then your first shopping spree you can cover a lot. These ABS parts usually come back to life, but these ones are in pretty bad shape. This is all in bad shape, actually. Well, the head cover doesn't look bad. Well, not that bad. Wires never survive. I'll need plugs. Other than the turbo, if the car has it, the only part of the exhaust you've got a chance of recovering is the exhaust manifold. From the looks of that starter, I don't think it's going to survive. Ignition coil, I find I always buy new ones. Somehow I don't think any of these cam caps are going to make it. Well, maybe two of them. These ones are pretty much good for garbage though. I don't have a lot of hope for this head either. It's epic bad. I don't actually think they can make it look worse than that. Just making sure I haven't missed anything. And I think that's everything I can get under the hood right now. So it's time to send her up. And I better get my oil buddy. For something so sensitive, the controls are a little twitchy. But that lined up. Hide this guy over here. The exhaust system. At least it's in bad enough shape. I know I probably didn't pay much on the purchase price for it. Yes, I know the drive shaft's gotta go. I'll take this rim. Most of the brake parts you have to buy new. Calipers, wheel cylinders, and the ABS parts. Those ones usually recover. The rest of it is pretty much a replace. These shocks and springs will all have to go, as will that sway link. I'm pretty sure I have spare tie rod parts in stock, because those don't recover. Bushings don't either. You want to replace those as soon as you can so you don't forget them. I may even have a bunch of those in stock. You can make your life easier doing rebuilds if some things like tie rod parts and bushings, the cheap stuff, just mass buy them every now and again, and then you don't have to keep running in and out of your inventory or the tablet to buy stuff. You can just work off your stock. Missed him. The steering rack is usually pretty cooperative for recovery. I may even have some spare springs in stock. Pull this tie rod. Goodbye knuckle, cross member, steering rack, oil filter. Once I get this oil pan off, I'll be able to pull the crank bearings, and then if I go topside again I can get the pistons, but I will finish under the car first. And I'm pretty sure now I gotta try to get this drive shaft. If it'll just light up for me. There we go. Except I'm not sure I'll be able to get back to the front of the car now. There we go. The gearbox may survive. Release bearing, no. Pressure plate, no. Clutch plates are quite cooperative. Flywheels, never. And that's everything I can get from there until I put the car back up. Or, pardon me, back down. Take this rim. I don't have a lot of hope that these rims will survive. They are in terrible shape. Caliper looks good-ish. Pull that. Little bushing. Most of the leaf spring components are pretty good for recovery, and if they don't recover, they're also dirt cheap. Fuel tank. It's the ghost of a fuel tank from the looks of it. Get that pump out of there, and then take the tank. All of this spring and shock stuff is good for garbage. Although I think I have it in stock, some of it. If you're really tight on the budget doing your rebuild, you will want to make sure you don't accidentally buy wrong parts like I've done. Otherwise, it comes around. And the only thing left to come off now is the engine block, and that won't take much longer. Really would have been sweet if the engine stand had have made it from the loading screen into the game. Now I can go grab the crank, and then I can grab that engine block, so it's a bit of up and down. And there we go. Now let's do the repair and see how much is lost. I'm expecting a lot of losses. And by the way, if you have or are worried about acquiring carpal tunnel, arthritis, or tendonitis, this repairing and inventory part of the game is horrifically designed. Massive spam clicking for no real reason. I think the steering rack made it, which is nice. That's 800 bucks. Let's just take a look here. Head's gone. Intake manifold, not surprised. Starter's expensive-ish. Fuel filter, fuel pump. Piston rods never make it. So far, nothing overly frightening. I think it did fairly well. Now let's sell off anything substandard. Sorry, I have to pause every now and again because after doing a lot of these cars, you really start to feel it. And let's see, I'll start with the engine because it is the most expensive if it does not go well. So I always like to do, I'll put that last so I can see. I like to do as much on the engine as quickly as possible. And then I get a fairly good idea how much it's going to cost me. And that ABS that recovered, well, I may have had some spare parts, but I think it recovered. It is worth, I believe one part is worth $900 and one is worth $750. And the servo made it too. That's a lot of big ticket items already. So let's buy some of the stuff I'm going to need. We will start with the word filter. Let's go to the right website and try that again. Oh, there's a filter. Battery, belt tensioner. I forget which cam gears it was. But I will need that and that. Flywheel. I know I'm going to need wires. I just want to make sure I get the right ones. Same with the intake manifold. Oil filter. Tie rods and pistons. Two sway link A's. Grab the water pump pulley. There's a few things there I would have probably liked to get, but my memory isn't good enough to remember every single part. Get these clips on. That's a good thing to remember, that anytime you install something with clips, put them on right away. They are very hard to see and very, very easy to forget. And now I need to throw this thing back into the air to finish up more of the engine. So far it hasn't been bad at all. I know I lost the head, but I'm wondering if I have a spare. Pop on the oil filter. Might as well get these little crank bearings. Get them now, don't forget them. Okay, 2 of those and an I4 exhaust. Crank bearings. The front exhaust is because I won't be able to get the exhaust manifold on without it. Now I can't do anything more with the engine until I get the pistons in, although I can put the gearbox together. The flywheel I bought. As you can see, I have clutch plates to spare. Release bearing, and the gearbox made it. And I can even get the starter when I go in. I know I lost it, but I am pretty sure that either A, it's not that expensive, or B, no, forget about B, I thought I might have a spare. Okay. Come here, little starter. And that was an I4. Single overhead cam, so starter, I4. Might as well grab the ignition wires. Crank pulley I4. Cam gear I4. If there's a difference. Yes, there is. Okay, pop the starter in. Pistons go. Okay, and yeah, I didn't have a spare head. Okay. Engine head I4 single overhead cam. When I saw how bad it was, I knew I was going to lose this part. Miracles may happen, but you don't bet on them. Exhaust manifold survived. And I need that ignition coil. Why do I keep hitting the wrong button? Actually, the answer to why I keep hitting the wrong button is I've been playing several other games on the side, and well, you get into patterns. And it is I4 MPI intake manifold. There we go. I probably lost the throttle. I may have lost the fuel rail. And I may have a spare. I lost it, and I do not have a spare. It's the other type of fuel rail that I have about 4 or 5 of. Okay, the throttle made it. Let's see how many of these. Okay, 4 of those cam caps. Crank. Cam lives here. And oh, no, I remembered to get it good. Toss those wires on. On goes the covers, or pardon me, caps. Okay, so this is actually going really, really well on the pricing, I think. Timing belt, tensioner. Okay, the cover made it. Crank pulley. And I keep a stock of these idler rollers because I don't think they recover. Or if they do, it's so rare that just buy them. Saves you trouble. Serpentine A. On she goes. And the only thing I have left to do in this engine compartment is the radiator and fan. After that, I can throw oil in the engine once I get the pan on and the filter in. So I'll do the pan and filter and then rebuild the rest of the car before I bring it back down. Oh, I already did the filter, good. Okay, so now it's the whole rest of the car. Spare bushings are a blessing. Ooh, I lost both front knuckles. Normally they survive. Come on, little bushing. Gonna need a catalytic converter and a few other things. I don't have one of those. Front sway bar, steering knuckle A. Front sway bar, front knuckle A. Okay, toss those in. Now, find a scoot mark. There we go. Tie rods. Yeah, I've been buying extras along the way. Front wheel hubs made it. Okay, wheel hub cap, missing those. I'm going to do the brakes last because I don't want too many things to light up along the way or it's hard to make them out. Scoot up here for the spring. Apparently I had spares of the springs and the shocks. And front end link A. But not those caps. Scoot over here. Do the same thing. ventilated disc. Yeah, I bought extra pads a while back. And I did lose 2 of the rims, which I can live with. I figured I was going to lose at least 3, maybe all 4. So that should be the entire front rebuilt. The only thing left is oil in the engine up front. Catalytic converter, middle muffler, rear muffler V8. Okay. Exhaust, catalytic, middle, rear V8. And I'll just scoot down the exhaust. Oh, that's going to be a little painful. I lost the axle. It's only 450. That's actually not as bad as it could have been. Drive shaft made it. Only 1 rear knuckle made it, and only 1 axle made it. Both control arms. And I had spare rear shock bees, spring caps. I'm just short on springs. Rear spring. Probably need the caps too. I don't think I stock extras of those. I bought the fuel tank. Apparently the pump did make it, or I had a spare. No, the pump didn't make it. I watched it go. So I did have a spare of that. And in fact I bought one, so I still have a spare. Litho bushing. When you're first starting with the game, those little bushings can drive you absolutely mad until you figure out where they are. And I need knuckle C and the solid axle. Solid axle, rear knuckle C. And there we go. This car is now very well on its way to completed. I need 2 brake discs. Well, maybe, do I have, no. Hoping for a spare, but I'm pretty sure I have spare pads at 40 bucks a pop. Yeah. Classic rim 13, I need 2 of those. Now the entire rear end is almost completely reassembled. And I'm pretty sure all I'm missing is oil. Body 100, parts 100, but I know there's no oil in that engine. And it does not like it when you try to sell it without oil in the engine. Go figure, right? Okay. And let's just move it where we can get a good look at this thing before I sell it. Okay. I really don't like it. Well, it looks really nice. The paint's nice and shiny. It's obviously back to brand new. I've just never been a fan of that style of car. The not quite box style. And the engine, everything in there just looks absolutely perfect. Just trying to look at it without highlighting everything in sight. No, that's nice. Nice car, not my style. One day I'll put one in parking just for the sake of completion, but for now, let's sell it off. And that's going to sell for $44,113. And in a moment I'll put up an overlay that shows purchase price, estimated repair cost, sale price, estimated profit margin, all that good stuff for you. And bye bye. And I'm going to call that a wrap. As a reminder for those of you watching on YouTube, don't forget to check the video description for links to my Car Mechanic Simulator 2015 guide. Hope you've enjoyed the video and hope to catch you again soon.